Hello and welcome back. I am Shayna Cersei and thank you for joining me on my channel. We are going to be painting this fabulous lighthouse today. So this is where we are going, so let's explore how I got there. So step one, we're going to create our outline. Now, if you would like to follow along and see how I've created that outline, you can see here I am just sketching out my ground line as well as the horizon line and the lighthouse itself. Now, if this part is not up your alley, you can always get a traceable for this. I do have traceables available for my studio crew members, and I do this project in full detail as well inside the studio crew. So go to the description of this video and find the link for Join My Studio Crew, and in there you can get traceables for many of the projects that we do, and there are many more projects in there than are even on my YouTube channel. So if you stick around to the end of this video, you also get to watch me make a little blunder at the end, a mistake that I have to figure out what to do with, where I get some splatters in my very pretty, very light sky, and I have to figure out how to incorporate them to make them work in the painting. And that is often the way in watercolor. Sometimes things don't go exactly how we planned, but we have to keep moving forward and figure out how to make them work within our vision for our painting. So in addition to sticking around to the end to watch me fix that mistake, don't forget to check out the description for a list of all the supplies that I'll be using. So in addition to this fabulous mechanical number 2 pencil that you see here, the paper I am using is Fabriano Artistico, the Fabriano student pad that is 25% cotton. So that's a great little find that I found at my local art store, but I'll put a link to it in the description as well. In addition to that, I'll be using my Core paints. So Core by Golden are my favorite paints. And I'll be sticking with a pretty simple palette of primary colors with a little sap green and Payne's gray. And I think I throw in a little alizarin crimson there at the end that I don't use in the beginning. And then lastly, I will choose my favorite brushes. Those are my silver black velvet brushes. It took me a long time to really be in love with these brushes or really even have a working relationship with these brushes, but I got there, and now I use primarily my size 12 as well as my size 8 silver black velvet, and I use that size 8 even for some of the tiniest details on this painting that you'll see. So I'm a big proponent of investing in a good 1 or 2 brushes that you use for almost all of your painting rather than replacing cheaper brushes over and over again or getting specialized brushes for every little thing that you need. That can come later on. I'm also going to use a kneaded eraser. As you see here, this is a fabulous tool to have in your watercolor kit. This allows us to pick up graphite off the page without damaging the paper. So a must-have in the watercolorist kit of supplies that will be really helpful. Don't forget when you're transferring or drawing out your image here, don't forget your horizon line like I did. So I just added that in there right now. So here come the rest of the supplies. Don't forget your water, of course. And then I'll pull out my palette here. I love this tin. Again, in my supplies, you can see a link to not only the paints, but the tin that I've used to create my palette. Here are my brushes, but really, let's be honest, favorite number 1, favorite number 2, and I'll also add in this tiny number 0 for some very fine details at the very, very end to create another layer of texture. But really that's it out of that whole bundle of brushes. I really only need these 2, and you can argue maybe that third one, but I could live without it if I absolutely had to. So let's pull out some colors. I have cadmium yellow, I have quinacridone magenta. I'm going to pull out some cobalt blue. Now this cobalt blue is actually not one of my not one of my core colors. I'm subbing in a little bit of Winsor & Newton cobalt blue just because I don't have a core cobalt and I really didn't want to use ultramarine and I wasn't quite ready to go with phthalo. So cobalt is a nice neutral blue. I'm also making a nice little orange color here. Grabbed some cadmium yellow, quinacridone magenta, and I even threw in just a little bit of diarylide yellow there, that warm yellow at the very end. Could have gotten away without it for sure. You can. And now I'm going to just start on my sky, work my way through blending my sky of yellow, orange, pink, and then blue at the end. And then step 2 is going to be working on my water, finding my way into the ground and creating all kinds of wonderful textures in the ground line with the rocks on those little jetties that stick out there in the water. And then also working on very subtle details in my lighthouse. So watch along if you would like step-by-step instructions as well as that outline and supply list. Go ahead and check out the studio crew. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of this painting as it comes together in our beautiful, serene lighthouse at sunrise. Thank you once again. As always, it's a pleasure to paint with you guys. I can't wait to continue to release new videos for you each week. And happy painting, everyone. If you've made it this far, you've made it to just about the end. And you can see I have those little streaks of paint in the sky. I'm just going to use my brush and turn them into some hungry, fabulous little seagulls throughout the painting. A few more than I normally would have in one of my paintings, but lo and behold, this is what we have. So we're going to take those and turn them into some beautiful birds.